Section 13 of Pirates of Panama. The Buccaneers of America by A. O. Esquemelin. Translated by G. A. Williams. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Reading by Lars Rolander. Chapter 9. The origin and descent of Captain Henry Morgan, his exploits, and the most remarkable actions of his life. Captain Henry Morgan was born in Great Britain, in the Principality of Wales. His father was a rich yeoman or farmer, of good quality, even as most who bear that name in Wales are known to be. Morgan, when young, had no inclination to the calling of his father, and therefore left his country, and came towards the sea coasts to seek some other employment more suitable to his aspiring humour, where he found several ships at anchor, bound for Barbados. With these he resolved to go in the service of one, who, according to the practice of those parts, sold him as soon as he came ashore. He served his time at Barbados, and obtaining his liberty, betook himself to Jamaica, there to seek new fortunes. Here he found two vessels of pirates ready to go to sea, and being destitute of employment, he went with them, with intent to follow the exercises of that sort of people. He soon learned their manner of living so exactly, that having performed 3 or 4 voyages with profit and success, he agreed with some of his comrades, who had got by the same voyages a little money, to join stocks and buy a ship. The vessel being bought, they unanimously chose him captain and commander. With this ship he set forth from Jamaica, to cruise on the coasts of Campeachy, in which voyage he took several ships, with which he returned triumphant. Here he found an old pirate named Mansvelt, whom we have already mentioned, busied in equipping a considerable fleet, with design to land on the continent and pillage whatever he could. Mansvelt, seeing Captain Morgan return with so many prizes, judged him to be a man of courage, and chose him for his vice admiral in that expedition. Thus, having fitted out 15 ships, great and small, they sailed from Jamaica with 500 men, Walloons and French. This fleet arrived not long after at the Isle of St. Catherine, near the continent of Costa Rica, latitude 12 degrees 13 minutes, and distant 35 leagues from the river Chagre. Here they made their first descent, landing most of their men, who soon forced the garrison that kept the island to surrender all the forts and castles thereof, which they instantly demolished, except one, wherein they placed 100 men of their own party, and all the slaves they had taken from the Spaniards. With the rest of their men they marched to another small island so near St. Catherine's, that with a bridge they made in a few days they passed thither, taking with them all the ordnance they had taken on the great island. Having ruined with fire and sword both the islands, leaving necessary orders at the said castle, they put to sea again, with their Spanish prisoners. Yet these they set ashore not long after, on the firm land near Puerto Velo. Then they cruised on Costa Rica, till they came to the river Colla, designing to pillage all the towns in those parts, thence to pass to the village of Nata to do the same. The governor of Panama, on advice of their arrival, and of the hostilities they committed, thought it his duty to meet them with a body of men. His coming caused the pirates to retire suddenly, seeing the whole country was alarmed, and that their designs were known, and consequently defeated at that time. Hereupon they returned to St. Catherine's, to visit the 100 men they left in the garrison there. The governor of these men was a Frenchman, named Le Sieur Simon, who behaved himself very well in that charge, while Mansvelt was absent, having put the great island in a very good posture of defence, and the little one he had caused to be cultivated with many fertile plantations, sufficient to revictual the whole fleet, not only for the present, but also for a new voyage. Mansvelt was very much bent to keep the two islands in perpetual possession, being very commodiously situated for the pirates, being so near the Spanish dominions and easily defended. Hereupon Mansvelt determined to return to Jamaica, to send recruits to St. Catherine's, that in case of an invasion the pirates might be provided for a defence. As soon as he arrived, he propounded his intentions to the governor there, who rejected his propositions, fearing to displease his master, the King of England; besides that, giving him the men he desired, and necessaries, he must of necessity diminish the forces of that island whereof he was governor. Hereupon Mansvelt, knowing that of himself he could not compass his designs, he went to Tortuga; but there, before he could put in execution what was intended, death surprised him, and put a period to his wicked life, leaving all things in suspense till the occasion I shall hereafter relate. Le Sieur Simon, governor of St. Catherine's, receiving no news from Mansvelt, his admiral, was impatiently desirous to know the cause thereof. Meanwhile Don Perez de Guzman, being newly come to the government of Costa Rica, thought it not convenient for the interest of Spain for that island to be in the hands of the pirates. Hereupon he equipped a considerable fleet, which he sent to retake it. But before he used violence, he writ a letter to Le Sieur Simon, telling him that if he would surrender the island to his Catholic Majesty, he should be very well rewarded, but in case of refusal severely punished, when he had forced him to do it. Le Sieur Simon, seeing no probability of being able to defend it alone, nor any emolument that by so doing could accrue either to him or his people, after some small resistance delivered it up to its true lord and master, under the same articles they had obtained it from the Spaniards. A few days after which surrender, there arrived from Jamaica an English ship, which the governor there had sent under hand, with a good supply of people, both men and women. The Spaniards from the castle having espied the ship, put forth English colours, and persuaded Le Sieur Simon to go aboard, and conduct the ship into a port they assigned him. This he performed, and they were all made prisoners. A certain Spanish engineer has published in print an exact relation of the retaking of the isle by the Spaniards, which I have thought fit to insert here. A true relation and particular account of the victory obtained by the arms of his Catholic Majesty against the English pirates, by the direction and valour of Don John Perez de Guzman, Knight of the Order of St. James, Governor and Captain General of Terra Firma and the province of Veraguas. The kingdom of Terra Firma, which of itself is sufficiently strong to repel and destroy great fleets, especially the pirates of Jamaica, had several ways notice imparted to the governor thereof, that 14 English vessels cruised on the coasts belonging to his Catholic Majesty. July 14, 1665, news came to Panama that they were arrived at Puerto de Naos, and had forced the Spanish garrison of the Isle of St. Catherine, whose governor was Don Esteban del Campo, and possessed themselves of the said island, taking prisoners the inhabitants, and destroying all that they met. About the same time Don John Perez de Guzman received particular information of these robberies from some Spaniards who escaped out of the island, and whom he ordered to be conveyed to Puerto Velo; that the said pirates came into the island May 2nd by night without being perceived, and that the next day, after some skirmishes, they took the fortresses, and made prisoners all the inhabitants and soldiers that could not escape. Upon this Don John called a council of war. wherein he declared the great progress the said pirates had made.